All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the show and follow me on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Before my intro, some love to the partners. Jocko Fuel, clean fuel without compromise. Mad Rabbit, Tattoo Aftercare. Be bold, be you. Use promo code Reyes Reflection. And ARave cards, completing sets one card at a time. Check out their eBay and Facebook to get yourself going on your Pokemon card collection. Now, on to the introduction of my guest. He is known as the dude that made you bawl your eyes out on national television during his time on The Voice, which we will definitely unwrap here. But he may also have sold you a house. That could be a possibility.
Yep.
Or he could still help you with that. I'm not 100% sure. We'll ask in a little bit. There's also a long debate on whether or not you think he looks like Niall Horan.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. No.
He has been called cute as a button by Reba McEntire, who he also made cry. And he has the moniker of Tater Tot. So without further ado, the one, the only, Dylan Carter, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. That was probably the best introduction I've ever gotten. You literally covered everything that happened. But I'm so glad you asked me to be here, and let's get into it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining me in the new year as well. This is going to be the first episode of the new year. So happy 2024. We're going to kick it off right. I want to ask you something. So people have said you look like Niall Horan. Is that because I heard you say that on TV?
You know, I didn't say that. Niall said that. That came out of nowhere. Like, he said that. I was shocked. I'm sure half the world was shocked. But hey, if he thinks that, then albeit, so be it.
That's a compliment, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take it.
Exactly. Yeah, no problem. So before we get into your time on The Voice, let's start with learning about who you are, where you came from. So start with your upbringing, sports you played, stuff like that. Let's learn who Dylan is.
Yeah. So I've been singing since I was 10 years old, playing the guitar. I started out in church and school, and it kind of just grew and grew, and then it got to like weddings and funerals. And then whenever I got my first job was singing at a farmer's market in town. So I would just sing every like Saturday morning for like 2 hours. But so music has always been a big part of my life. I definitely did not see it going down the road it's going now, though. I cannot believe that The Voice even happened.
Because it's like an idea that you didn't think would ever happen, right?
No, like it still shocks me now. Like, I can't believe I'm even chasing a music career. Before The Voice, I didn't really want to. My mom, she pushed me to. I just didn't see that happening, like it even being possible. But now I do.
So growing up, I think I saw a post of you played football. Is that right? You were a football player?
Oh Lord, I played all the sports pretty much. I went to a small private school. I had 20 people in my class. There was 200 people in the school from like K4 to 12th grade. That's why I'm such a shy and like I am awkward. I'm very socially awkward, but I kind of blame it on that. I didn't get much diversity growing up. So, and now I'm getting tons of it. I'm having people ask to take pictures with me. I'm having strangers notice me and walk up to me. People are messaging me, and it's just insane.
You have guys saying, "Hey, would you like to come on the podcast?"
Exactly. I have to learn how to be social and talk now, and I'm doing it, I reckon.
Well, it's hard when you didn't grow up in that way, and then you have to almost push yourself, especially nowadays. I was talking to somebody about this not too long ago. I feel like music careers now are almost solely on social media, which is a lot of, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. That is what a lot of social media is. So it's really hard because it's like you have to almost put yourself out there now more so than ever to even get noticed, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just what I see.
Oh, yeah. I have had to completely change my personality, completely change pretty much who I am, who I was to chase a music career. You have to go all in, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate posting on social media, but you have to do it.
Right.
You have to.
I'm the same way. I'm not a big social media guy. I don't really like to post. It's just not my thing. But like you said, you have to. We have to do this so that way we make our name for ourselves. That's the only way we can. Unfortunately, it's like a sad truth. Unfortunately, we have to, but we don't want to necessarily.
It really is.
So, South Carolina, was it? Is that where you were born and raised?
Charleston, South Carolina. So I have the beach right beside me.
Oh, no.
I can go upstate to the mountains. I love it here. I don't ever want to move. So like I don't ever go anywhere. I've probably been just on the East Coast really. So going out to The Voice in California was like my first giant big trip. I was so scared. I was 20 years old. I've never been away from my family, my friends, and I just kind of jumped on the plane and took off. I did not think I was going to make it on the plane. Didn't know how to get through the airport security. You should have saw me. I was asking every single person I saw for help, and I made it.
You did. It's so funny. You're like, am I actually supposed to get on this big flying machine in the air? Is that real? I don't believe that. Yeah.
I was so scared. I still can't believe I did it all by myself with the help of strangers.
Yeah. That's incredible, my friend. I saw in your bio you have people who avoid failure also avoid success. So for someone who is so shy or as introverted as you say you are, why is that so important for you why is that mantra so important for you to follow and want to live out essentially?
Because for so long, I stayed comfortable. I stayed in my own comfort zone, in my own bubble where I felt safe, where I was doing fine. And if you're okay being in that same place and you don't need to go up or you can't be afraid to like fall down. You got to be able to put yourself out there and take chances. Just like what I did on The Voice. I was majorly out of my comfort zone. Going to the airport, I was out of my comfort zone. But to be able to get where you want to be, to achieve your dreams, you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I can't say it enough because I see people stuck in their own little bubble, and you just have to take chances. Like my song I sang for my battle with Tom Nitty, Till You Can't. You have to take those chances now if you want to get where you want to be.
I love that you said that. You have to be okay with falling down. I think too many people are afraid of that. And you're totally right. In order to get success, you have to fail. You have to learn from those failures, and I think it's so important. And I think that was such a good. I love that you have that in your bio. I saw that on Instagram, and I was like, man, this dude's a real dude because I'm a big fan of people who are okay with failure. Even your music, stuff like this podcast, you're not going to hit every single time.
No, in this podcast, I'm gonna be so awkward. I'm gonna slur some words. I'm gonna ramble. It's gonna happen. But one day, whenever I look back on this, I'm gonna realize this is what got me to where I am now.
And then when you're a big time guy, you'll be like, you know what? Remember that little podcast I did? Yeah. It helped me. Yeah.
For real, I sang at a college basketball game 2 days ago on Saturday.
I saw that. Clemson.
Yes. There was probably 20,000 people in the stadium. It was packed. It was a big game. And I could not hear the track to save my life. So my second song, I was completely off. My third song, there was one high note at the end, and I just did not hit it. And it sounded rough. But I look at it not as a failure, but as like a learning thing. And next time I'm going to be prepared. That was my first time in an arena. So like next time I know what I need to do and how to do it right. So it's just funny going through all these journeys because I know that one day I'm going to look back on them and like laugh. So
That's a great point. You have to be willing to laugh at yourself. You can't be like so serious and be like, "No, I'm perfect the way I am." You have to be willing to be like, "Yeah, you know what? I really did bomb that." And that's okay. Because now I know what nerves or what feelings I can have to try to help avoid that for next time. You have to have those trials and tribulations. It's human nature. We learn by failure. I read something one time in a book where someone said, when the person tried to eat, right, and they wanted to attack the saber-tooth tiger and they lost, unfortunately, you would know you had to learn, okay, I can't go that route. I have to do it this way. Or maybe that's not what I'm going to try to eat right now. So what I'm trying to say is we have to learn from these failures. We have to learn from these mistakes so that we're able to propel to success,
exactly.
to great achievements. And you saying that, and it's funny, you're probably your own worst critic. You
Yeah,
probably noticed it yourself, but other people probably thought you were incredible. It's just one of those things. Because I'm not musically gifted whatsoever, so when I hear people, I'm like, wow, they sound incredible. They sound amazing. But then I'll interview them. I've had a few people on from The Voice, and they say, no, on this song, I didn't do the greatest that I wanted to do. And they notice it. But to me, as just the spectator, I'm like, that was a great song. What do you mean? I thought that was great. So it's very interesting to see the differences of individuals of wanting to be the best version of themselves and how they're going to get there. But there is also a healthy balance of being happy within yourself as well, not too harsh,
yeah. I struggle with like confidence in myself and being too harsh on myself, but I'm working on that now. It's a journey. Everything is a journey, and there are few people who get to that big platform without failure, without learning curves. And I just want to be real and show people that it's not all great. You're going to have failures along the way, but that's what it takes to get where you want to be.
That's a great segue into the next block that I want to talk about. So let's transition to your time on The Voice. I would be remiss if I did not mention that a big part of your voice experience revolved around the passing of your mother, Julie.
Definitely.
What did even auditioning for the show mean to you in regards to your mother and that relationship?
Yeah. So I've auditioned twice before just because my mom forced me to. So after she died, my friend Lydia, she was at my blind audition with my grandma. She signed me up, and it was literally like a few days or weeks after that I had my open call, and I took it more serious than the first two auditions, and I made it past that. And then I took every other preliminary round serious just for my mom, and here I am. It got me there. I know the story really is what got me on TV, but it's just, I don't even care. It let me pay a tribute to my mom that I will never forget. It has healed me and my family so much. We needed this.
It was almost like a sense of closure because you said she always wanted you to do this show, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And now, ever since I did it and I faced my fears and got over my nerves, because man, there were so many nerves. I'm just on this path now with my mom, with all my new fans, and I know it's where I need to be right now. It's just great.
Yeah, moms are so special. I think you did a really good job at storytelling. I want to ask you a question. On The Voice, you said that you almost took your mother for granted at times. Can you expand on that point? What do you mean by that when you said that?
I Lord, it is for some reason I've always struggled like telling someone I love you, or even sending a text message, I love you too. So like every time she would call me or text me, she would always end it with like, love you. And I'd be like, love you, bye. Or like, bye. Talk to you later. And recently, before passing, I was very busy with work. I was very busy with my life. I was just starting my life, my new career as a real estate agent. So I never went home to see her. I never really talked to her. I was making my friend group and hanging out with them. So I didn't get much time with her in her right before she passed. So I do regret that. I regret not texting her back because I go through the last text messages with her, and I can see the last one's from her, and I just ignored it. So just please, whoever's listening to this, text your mama back, text your dad back, tell them you love them. It's worth it.
Can I share something with you on a personal level? So you sharing your story honestly got to me and choked me up. I think you and I are two kindred spirits in that regard. I'm not a very emotional person. And when it comes to my mom and my dad, I'm not one that really tells people even how I feel about them. Not just even parents, friends. I have a very hard time of just, right, I have a very hard time of saying, like, I appreciate you for what you did. I do. I just don't know why I have a hard time overcoming that fear. I think for me personally, a lot of it stems from my grandfather passing away when I was younger. I think it was because it was so sudden. To me, I almost always kept people at arm's length. That's the best way I could put it. I always kept people at arm's length. My mom, my dad, my friends. I always kind of just, I love you, but like you have to kind of be this distance. And the reason why I say you inspired me, my friend, is because I was that way with I am that way at times with my mom. And I'm checking myself now because of you. Because when I heard your story, I said, I'm curious, because if it's the same thing that I'm thinking, it's that I don't always text my mom I love you. My mom will do the same thing. She'll text me. And I think part of that is a little bit of fear for me. So my mom has had the same phone number. I'm 30. My mom has had the same cell phone number since I was like 12 or 13. So I remember I talked to my mom. I had this conversation about a week ago with her, and I said, Mom, I think one of the reasons why I have such a hard time of trying to talk to you all the time or trying to always is because I know you've had the same number, and I know, God forbid, if something happens to you, I won't be able to call that number anymore. And it's almost like in my head, I'm so afraid of that, wow, I won't be able to call this number anymore, and she will always pick up, or she will always. My mom, I could not talk to her, and I've gone almost years without talking to her just because I've been so busy, I've been doing stuff, and then I call her, and it's fine. And so when you shared your story, I choked up because I almost felt it in a way. I felt what you were saying, even though you didn't. I appreciate that you expanded on it a little bit more and you were vulnerable here on the podcast. But when I was listening to it, I was like, I think it's the same thing that I'm going through, that I don't always call my mom. I don't always text back my mom. I don't always text back my dad, my brothers. And so it's just something that I'm personally needing to work on as well. And so you just said, whoever's listening, I felt it just even on the TV. So I really hope that whoever listens to this episode understands that they're not the only ones. But like you said, I regret some of those moments. And even myself, I regret some of those years that I just I was too busy. And I think that that's such a hard thing to do. And I get it. We all have the hustle and bustle of life where we have work, we have bills to pay, things have to be done. You want to hang out with friends. But I think as we talked about technology and social media earlier in the podcast, I think what's so incredible is a text message could do a whole lot. A simple text, love you. I hope you're having a great day.
It really does. It really does. And what adds on to it is like, I'm a mama's boy. My mom is a single mom. My parents divorced when I was like 6 years old, and she never remarried. She barely had any boyfriends. So it was always just my mom and me and her boys, me and my brother. But, yeah, so it's hard, but I push every chance I can to tell the listeners, to tell my friends, go hug your mama, please, for me. But yeah.
Thank you, Dylan. I think myself and many others need to hear that. So thank you so much.
Mm.
You said you had a brother, older, younger?
Older. He's like 4 years older.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're the baby too.
I am.
During the blind audition, you chose a powerful song, I Look to You, and all the coaches turned around pretty fast. It was one of the fastest I've seen. You were incredibly vulnerable, as I mentioned. You were awesome. There's a story to why you chose that song, and again, it pertains to your mother. Can you share why you chose that particular song?
So Whitney Houston is my mom's idol. Every time a Whitney Houston song came on, my mom would stop the world, would stop the room, and make everybody listen to her sing it. So, and every time that song, I Look to You, came on, she'd say, Dylan, you're singing this song for me at my funeral. And I would just laugh it off and be like, all right. But then that day came way too early, and I told my family I gotta sing it, and they said, you probably won't be able to. But I said, I got it. So I tried it, and I could not sing it. I cried the whole time at her funeral. So getting that second chance to sing it on The Voice was everything I needed. It was amazing to feel what I felt singing that song on that stage. I felt like my mom was right there with me, and ever since that day, I've had that feeling with me, and I think that's what has kept me going, for real. But yeah.
No, she's there, bro. She's there, my friend.
She was on that stage. I've had people, strangers from all over the world, message me and tell me that they saw something special in that performance, and in my voice they heard it. So it means a lot.
I did too. I still do. I had goosebumps right now. As you said that, I felt a chill. No, it's there, bro, and I'm right there with you, man. I think that, as I mentioned, my grandfather was a big. Wow, I'm getting more emotional than I realized in this episode. This is for the viewers. I said we were gonna do something new for 2024. Here let's do more in 24. We're here.
More emotion. We're letting it out.
Yes, we are. My grandfather. There are moments where I'll sit there and I'll go, "He's here," and I needed him, and he knew I needed him, and I don't know if I would have been able to make it in that moment in time if he wasn't there. My grandfather was a father figure to me. And you said that your folks split when you were 6 or 7. Me too. So my grandfather really stepped in that role for a long time for us until he passed away, unfortunately. And same thing, left way too young. But I'm a man of faith. I don't push it on people, but I believe that God is taking care of them in ways that I could never hear. So that also helps me progress as well. Let's circle back to The Voice. All 4 of the coaches, like I said, turned around really fast. You ended up choosing Reba after you were vulnerable and they all were sharing why they wanted you on the show and listening to you, which happened to also be, I believe it happened to be Reba's last spot as well. Why did you make that decision?
So Reba spoke first and said her lines, and then it went through each other coach. And then at the end, Reba just jumped back in and had a whole nother thing to say. And the last thing she said was about her mom and how her mom pushed her to go to Nashville to be a singer. And that is exactly what my mom did to me. That's what my mom is still doing to me. Like, I don't want to post on social media. I don't want to I want to have a music career, but like, it's just so hard nowadays that it doesn't seem too possible, but there's this thing pushing me to do it. Like it's driving me to do it. And part of it has to do with what Reba said about her mom. And that's why I'm still going. So that's why I chose Reba. And if I wouldn't have chosen Reba, the world would have hated me. For
I
real.
love that. You're like, I had to have chosen Reba at that moment in time. Yep.
Surprisingly, Gwen Stefani and John Legend, I didn't know John Legend cried until the show aired, but Gwen and John had some very nice things to say about my voice and me as well. So it was very hard. It wasn't just like had to choose Reba. What they said really got to me, but I had to go to Reba at the end.
It's a game time decision, right?
It really is.
And I've heard from people that I've interviewed in the past, they say, I've gone in thinking, I want this coach, I want this coach, I want this coach. And then I go up on that stage and it's completely gone. Me thinking that this one coach, because I listen to every single one, and my mindset changes. So and you wouldn't have gone wrong either way. They're all incredible at what they do in their craft. So they're all masters in their craft. So you wouldn't have gone wrong either way. But I do agree with you. I think you had to choose Reba. I think you had to.
Yeah, there would have been an uproar if I wouldn't have. I know, like, all my family and friends in the South knew I had to choose Reba, but like I had an open mind. I did, and I really wanted that John Legend jacket. I got freaking tater tots.
Yeah. But now you have the nickname Tater Tot because of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you were called cute as a button a lot of times. I don't know if that would have happened with John. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
So then you advanced to the next round. You said you were nervous before you competed. Gwen called your voice beautiful. I personally thought it could have gone either way, but you did end up losing. What is one thing that you are taking from the voice experience to help you towards your music career?
I literally soaked everything in I could from what the coaches said. They don't show everything the coaches say, so they said a lot more, and I just really took all that in. And also being around the world's greatest, the country's greatest singers, musicians for like 2 months, I asked so many questions because I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know how to chase a music career or how to put music out on Spotify or Apple Music, but I literally asked every question I could, and they were all so helpful. And I've just learned so much from not only the coaches, but also all the contestants.
It does seem like that. It seems like a good camaraderie, family. Everyone's around each other. They all are very supportive of one another. That's always what I've seen from what it looks like. Because even when you battle against somebody, you genuinely want that person to do well as well.
And there were so many tears. Like if people had to go home or leave or lost, there was going to be so many tears. Whenever we had to leave the hotel, we would all meet up together and say our goodbyes. This was the most mentally and emotionally draining, but also the best experience I've ever had. It's just all of that combined. It's just insane.
That's awesome. In a hypothetical world, if you could have chosen another coach other than Reba, who would you have gone with?
I think if I should have been more strategic, I think I would have gone with Gwen.
Really?
Yeah, just because of what she said to me at the blind, my blind.
Yeah.
I think I would have gone a little farther if I would have chose a different coach. But
Yeah.
like I said, I had to choose Reba.
Yeah, you had to. You had
Yeah,
to.
and I don't regret it. I don't at all. She was amazing. I got to hug her and talk with her, ask her questions, and she was just so full of wisdom.
Yes. Yeah, she is a really awesome person, and she seems so genuine. It's funny. I was talking to someone about it, and they said it's almost like she's your grandmother. Like the way that she like acts, it's like a very loving Nana, as somebody said. And
I kind of felt it as like a mom figure, and that
yeah,
was just what I needed. So yeah.
yeah. The last question I want to ask you about the voice before we wrap up, and then we'll ask some rapid fire questions, which is always a good
Oh,
part. Then we get to really learn who
Yeah.
Dylan is there now. You said that you were an introvert. You said that you were shy. If there's a piece of advice that you could give to someone to just get there, to try to get on The Voice, you said at one point yourself, you thought that this was just a pipe dream. You thought it was never going to happen. So what's one piece of advice that you would give to someone that's maybe in your shoes at one point where they're a little nervous and shy and they don't believe in themselves enough to achieve this goal? What's a piece of advice you'd give to someone?
You're just going to have to continue to put yourself out there, even when you fail, because you're going to fail, and you might fail more often than you succeed. And because I feel like I do that. I'm doing that now. I feel like I'm failing more than I succeed, but you just have to keep putting yourself out there to make it. And you really do need a good support group. I would not continue to do this if I didn't have my little fan base, my family and friends around here. But yeah, you just need to keep putting yourself out there. And even when the nerves are breathtaking, whenever I don't know if you saw it on my blind, but my hand with the mic was like shaking. You just can't let the nerves get the best of you, because you're going to look back on this and it's just going to be great.
You'll get more no's in this life than you will yeses.
Oh, yeah. I'm learning that now. Lord.
You're like, Lord, ain't that the truth? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a great piece of advice. Yep. All right, some rapid fire questions. Let's do this. All right, you ready?
I reckon.
All right. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
No. All right. Dylan, I thought we were friends. No. I'm just...
Well, I've never really tried it, so I guess I can be open-minded.
Okay. All right. So there you go. You talked about that you were a realtor. Is a housing market crash a good thing?
Ooh, for rich investors, it sure is. Not for most people like me. So there's that.
Okay, because that means that like the properties are so cheap, right? And that you're able to just purchase them pennies to the dollar, right?
Exactly.
I saw a video, or a couple videos of you hitting the gym. Do you skip leg day?
Oh, Lord. Yes, I do. I am trying so hard to get. I should have went this morning. I knew you were going to ask something about the gym. I am trying to get back into it, though.
I'm a personal fitness trainer, so I'll hold you accountable. I'll be like, my friend Dylan, did you hit the gym? Yeah, I struggle with leg day. Some of it is surgery. I tore my knee. Some of it is surgery, but some of it is like, this isn't fun. I'd rather do arms. I like arms. I like looking big. No, I'm just kidding.
True.
Talk to me about the under the stovetop TikTok.
Oh, my Lord. So that was complete real. Like, I saw that TikTok and I went in immediately to the kitchen and just like lifted up, because it's an old oven stove thing. And it just popped right up, and I thought I had broke it.
Yeah,
it was great.
It looked like you did at first, and then I realized it latched in, and I was like, oh wait, it's supposed to do that.
Yeah, but it probably hadn't been opened or cleaned in years.
And then and that was one you did with your mom, and you said she looked at it for like 10 minutes straight, being like, what is
that? And then she had the audacity to tell me to clean it.
She's like, you discovered it, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather retire now, but you will get $1,000 a week for the rest of your life, or continue working, never getting a pay raise, but you get $1 million today?
Oh, I do the second option where I get $1 million a day.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the first part? Will I have to continue working and never get a pay raise?
Correct. Yeah, you never get a pay raise, but you will get $1 million today, but you have to continue working. Or would you rather retire and just get $1,000 a week for the rest of your life?
Now that is a hard one.
Yeah, I wrote that one myself.
I would I would just have to do the second option with $1 million.
But it's hard because it makes you think, right? The second,
Yeah,
I'm like,
because you have to keep working.
yeah.
I would just have to either have a injury or have to get fired or something.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh Lord. My biggest pet peeve, probably people when I hear people chewing
Chewing.
their food. Yeah, there you gotta turn a TV on or something. My grandma does it so bad.
So loud chewers probably irk you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're like, come on, grandma. Yeah. You said she's like a star now. People recognize her, right? When they see her in the stores.
She gets recognized more than I do. It is insane. She'll go into Family Dollar and the Waffle House. She's made so many friends now. The mail lady, she told me recently, stopped her and asked her, "Are you Dylan's grandma?" It is. I love it. I love it.
She is a superstar, most definitely.
She is.
What conspiracy theory do you most believe in?
Ooh, I love some Bigfoot.
Oh.
I used to love watching those Bigfoot shows.
And they have like a lot of documentaries now on the Netflix and all that stuff. Yeah, those Bigfoot.
I just feel like someone has to have seen something, or like there has to be pictures or real evidence by now, and there's not. So
I would have to agree with you on that. I was saying that to someone else. We were talking about Bigfoot and aliens and things like that, and I said I refuse to believe that somebody or like a group of people, maybe I'm wrong, but they all got into a room one day, made up a character, drew it out, and then said, "Look, we all saw this." Because there's other people that have said, "No, I've seen it. I've seen things. And the world is really, really big. I mean, there are creatures we haven't even discovered. So I would have to say that I could see a Bigfoot. Yeah.
and didn't the government just say that aliens are real or something?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So like this world, I'd believe anything at this point. I am gullible to anything. So who knows?
Anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
All right, I got a chat pack, which is random questions. All right, and you'll get a random question, and you'll answer it. Let's see what we got. Who is the greatest podcast host of all time? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my!
I'm just kidding. Okay. When people find out what you do for a living, so in your case, a singer, what is the most typical question that you get asked? So about singing, what is the most typical question you get asked?
Probably about nerves. Do you not get nervous, or how do nerves not get the best of you? And they do. They do. They affect my singing. They make me shake. But one day I hope I'll get over it and I won't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And I've read something that said, or I've heard other people say that you always get them, but it's just a different type. And like I one time went to a concert, and it was funny because the artist was messed up. And it was like a big one. I think it was like a Kenny Chesney concert. I don't think it was Kenny Chesney himself, but I think one of the ones on his card. And she was like, "Oh, I messed up." And she goes, "You know what? I need you all to help me out." And then she started going, and it became a good interaction with like the crowd. And I remember listening to that, and I go, "Wow, what a good way to like avert nerves almost, or even just embrace the nerves and be like."
Embrace them.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yes. Yeah.
It shows your fans, it shows people that you're human and not everything is perfect.
We're not robots. We're not robots.
No. Especially not me.
Where can people find you, follow you, join you on your music journey? Where can people follow Dylan and experience Dylan?
Mainly just Facebook, Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel now. I post once a week covers, but soon in May, hopefully on Mother's Day, I'm paying a tribute to my mom and all moms. I'm going to release my first few songs on Mother's Day, so those should be on all streaming services.
Awesome. I can't wait to look forward to that. I did see you do a cover of an Ed Sheeran song, I think I saw, and I thought that was awesome. Yeah, you did it. You did a good job on that, my friend. But I can't wait to listen to that tribute to moms all around the world. Dylan, my friend, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join the show. You have a fan in life in me, and now you are a friend of the show. I've sworn you in. Look at that. This is you've been knighted.
He has reflection.
So thanks again for coming on, my friend.
Thank you for asking me to be here. This was awesome.
Awesome. I'm glad you had fun. Thanks again for tuning in. That is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Follow me on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Check out our sponsors, Mad Rabbit, ARave Cards, Jocko Fuel, and as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I am Oprah, and I love you all.
Amen.